I'm gonna edit you and make you look so good.
Like Facetune my face. All right. That makes me feel a bit better.
Should I restart?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, this is James. James is Caucasian, also known as Caucasian James.
Yes.
James is Twitter's heartthrob.
Yes.
Self-proclaimed Twitter's heartthrob.
Well, kind of.
What do you mean?
Someone tweeted at me saying I was Twitter's heartthrob.
Like a couple years ago?
This was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I laughed just like incredibly hard because it's just like the funniest phrase, Twitter's heartthrob. So yeah, I just made that my bio. But yeah, it's pretty much self-proclaimed, I guess.
This is James and I's first time meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We've been Twitter friends for like a year and a half, I think.
Yeah, like 2019, I think.
Yeah. It's funny because when you first tweeted at me, I like had followed your Twitter for so long and I was like freaking out. I like was like, guys, Caucasian James just like tweeted at me. I don't even remember what it was, but like you might have like liked my tweet and I was so excited.
It was probably something flirtatious.
Do you flirt on Twitter?
Yeah, way too much. I've gotten better.
What do you mean what does getting better mean?
Like I don't do it as much.
So is that better for you? Like that's like where you
It's
wanna
just like
be?
something I shouldn't do.
Like a
it's something I shouldn't do, especially
self-control thing?
Oh, for sure. Like obviously in 2019 I would tweet at Zendaya like all the time. It was like a running joke. It was never bad. It would just be like she would tweet like a selfie and I'd be like, have a great day.
Yeah.
But my followers would like pile on and it got to be too much.
How did your like Twitter empire start?
Like
when was your first? Was it always Caucasian James, your username?
So when I was 19, I was a sophomore in college and my Twitter handle was like gross. It had like numbers in it and like underscores.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I want something like really clean. I was a big party guy in college, so I'm joking. But yeah, I was just laying there in bed and I was like, okay, if I was a rapper, what would I call myself? Mm-hmm. And Caucasian James was like my first thought. And I was like, that's so stupid, but it's also super funny, I think. So I checked and the @ was available.
How did you start getting a following? Side note. Like how do you go from 300 to anything?
So June of 17.
I love that you know the dates. So well.
I have a really weird memory. I have like my dad's memory.
No, that's cool.
Like my dad, literally his short-term memory is really, really bad, but he remembers like the most crazy details from like, yeah, like from like 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like he'd be like, oh, you know, I was out to lunch with your brother and I think it was like 72 and he got this burger. Like the details are insane. So I think I got that from him. Anyways, yeah, it was June of 17. I was already trying to be funny online just for fun. Like it was literally, I was getting enjoyment from it.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I was making like dance videos and I remember I would post them on like Facebook because that like posting my videos on Facebook were like, that was like the main stage for me because I had 800 friends on there. So that was like my biggest audience. And whenever I would post like a funny dance video on Facebook, they did well, but they never went viral. I remember it was like popular at the time to like dance to theme songs. Like I remember a girl danced to like the Office theme song and it went viral. I'm like, I can do that. Like for sure. The theme song that popped in my head was the That's So Raven theme song. Okay. I don't know if you've seen the video.
I don't think maybe I
It used to be pinned, but I unpinned it because it's just like it's lame to pin tweets that are like 4 years old. I posted the video. I remember on Twitter.
Okay.
And I remember I had like butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, I think this could go viral. Like I really did. I don't know why, because none of my other stuff did, but I knew it was by far the best thing I'd ever made. I posted it, and I remember like after like 10 minutes, it had like 4 retweets and 12 likes. I'm like, whoa, like
you're like, I'm making it.
This is for sure gonna be my most like tweet. I think before that, my like highest like tweet was like 50 likes. I remember this all like really well because it was like, this was the moment, you know, it was the moment. I think after like 2 hours, it had like 24 retweets, 36 likes. And already at that point, I'm like happy. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is for sure the biggest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm glad this at least like paid off within my own little community. But I weirdly had a friendship with Damo Genesis from Odd Future.
Okay, interesting.
Because I used to make dance videos to his songs. Mm-hmm. So he followed me on Twitter and he retweeted it or like quote tweeted it. I was like, holy shit, like this could be it. Like, oh my God. Like, I remember the next day I was walking to class with my friend and I was like, dude, I'm like kind of going viral on Twitter right now. I've got like 1,000 retweets on this video. He's like, what? Anyways, after like 48 hours, I think it ended up getting like 20,000 retweets, 50,000 likes. But I remember just being like so excited. I'm like, holy shit, like I have people following me who don't even know me in real life. This is so exciting. And it was enough motivation for me to like really start trying. So instead of tweeting just like once a day, I started tweeting like 5 to 10 times a day. And basically it just like very, very slowly grew. Sorry if I'm like over explaining this.
No, you are not over explaining it.
But I think people are curious about this stuff.
I'm curious. And I like it.
Because it is a question I get. Because I was always curious. Like, how do you get started? Anyways, now I'm here. Yeah.
Now you're here.
Sorry.
Wait, so how do you think of, like, I often wonder what is going on in here, because the shit that you tweet is ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand. You'll tweet like I mean, not now. I've actually noticed that you've slowed down, because like you're the only person on Twitter I like care about their tweets.
I have slowed down.
But how do you think of, like, what are you doing in your room, like, in this day? Like, I'm genuinely curious. What do you do on when you're off time? Like, what's an average day for you?
It's funny because I get like one tweet a day. I get one tweet a day that says like, what do you do every day? How do you make money? Do you have a job? And I love that people don't know. Like, people have no idea. Throughout the day, I'm like always checking Twitter, and I'll try to like put some tweets out.
Do you feel like you have an obligation to Twitter now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's gotten better. I think it was getting unhealthy at one point where I was just
like an obsession almost?
Not obsession, but the obligation of like, oh man, it's been 3 hours and I haven't tweeted. I have to get something out.
Yeah.
And those would always just be like my worst tweets, like the ones I just like pull out of my ass because I'm like, I got to put something out right now. Because there definitely is, like, throughout the day, there's moments where I just feel like super creative and just like in the zone on Twitter, which sounds so funny. Like,
no, I totally understand what you're saying. Is there anything that sparks that? Is it just having like a clear head that day kind of thing?
Having a clear head is huge.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm feeling anxious or depressed, like, I can't even tweet anything. Like, literally nothing. Literally nothing would come to my mind. So like, it's always funny when people are like, I'm only funny because I'm depressed or like, that's the opposite for me. If I'm depressed, like, I'm not going to say anything funny or worthwhile on Twitter.
But do you think that your like charisma comes from, I guess, because I think people, what they get from that is like their sadness is what has made them, or trauma has what made them funny. Like, do you relate to that?
Not really.
Like, are you like walking evidence that you can be funny without being sad?
I think so.
That's cool.
I think
really
so.
Cool.
I'm a pretty happy guy. Like, I'll maybe have like 1 or 2 bad days a week where I'm just like it's just not working.
What's a bad day? Like, bad day meaning like you can't think of anything creative, like that kind of thing, like writer's block?
Bad day just like mentally.
Okay.
So like, you know how I said I didn't want to do this on a Sunday? It almost is always Sundays. I don't know what it is about Sundays, but usually like during the day on Sundays, I'm usually fine. But once it gets dark, like, I'll legitimately feel just terrible.
Like a timer almost? It's like on Sundays in the afternoon. It's almost
a timer. Just like once a week, my brain just has to get it out. Like, just like depression, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes on Sundays, I won't have it happen. And then the next day, Monday, I'll just get hit like hard. Do you think you haven't dealt with something and it kind of like seeps out sometimes? Like, do you think this is something you haven't dealt with? What do you mean?
Like, these days where you feel really sad, do you think it's like sadness from like past? I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Maybe it like.
I need to go to therapy.
It sounds, I mean, it's like if you're not depressed the whole week and you're having moments of this intense sadness, it sounds like something's creeping up on you. Because if you're not an overall depressed, like you have a depressive state or whatever it is, then it's hard to explain like days of depression without maybe it being something you haven't dealt with.
I think it's literally just depression. Like, depression, you can't really explain. It just happens. Like, it's out of your control.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think it's genetic? Like, that could also be another.
I love my parents to death, but like, they're not very open about like mental health. Like, my mom doesn't like talking about it. My dad doesn't like talking about it, which probably doesn't help me.
Yeah. It's interesting.
My parents are great though. Like,
Yeah.
don't come at them.
Yeah.
They're just old school, and that's just what it is. But yeah, I definitely need to go to therapy, or at least try it.
Everyone kind of does, though.
Everyone
Not, like,
does.
yeah.
Absolutely, everybody does.
Yeah.
Like it could never hurt anyone, even if your life's amazing. Everyone has something that they're dealing with,
Yeah.
and they need someone to talk to. And I annoy myself because I've been telling myself for like over a year now, like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I just haven't done it.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really good for me. So now it's on record. I'm gonna go to therapy soon. I promise.
I think that'll be good.
Yeah, it would
This
be
might
good.
Fix the sad days.
Or at least like help deal with them better. I feel
Yeah.
like they're unstoppable. Like I don't think I'll ever just be able to stop them. But like,
Do you really
deal with
believe
them.
that they're unstoppable?
Have
Have you had this since you were a kid?
No. I haven't experienced depression or anxiety till probably the last few years, really.
What is
Kind
it?
of since I like started getting a following online, which like is sad, but I think that's kind of what happened.
Do you think those go hand in hand, or is that just coincidence?
I don't know. I've really tried thinking about it.
It's interesting that like negative comments for some reason like hit the same hardness like as it would in person. Like if I said something mean to you in person,
Yeah.
it would hurt. And it hurts just as much as online, but it doesn't do the same with nice comments. Like if someone said something nice to you in person, you'd feel it. But online, you're like, whatever.
It's so true.
It's interesting though. Like
It's
why
very
we do
interesting.
that.
I don't know.
Why we fixate.
I've been trying to figure that out.
Not even fixate. It's like we actually just feel one side more and we don't even care about the other side. I think it's also too like what I've noticed. Tell me if you agree with this. Like the shitty part about social like comments, negative comments is like they'll say the things that you're insecure about, like that voice in the back of your head. So that's why it's so hard. I'm like, there's people saying like the deepest, darkest like anxiety in my head, and they're confirming it online with their comment. And so that's what I've noticed. I'm like, this hurts me because this is that voice in my head in a comment.
Yep.
That's why it hurts. At least
It's
me.
yeah. I would be lying if I said I'm not like more insecure now since I've gotten a following. Like people have pointed out stuff about like my face that I didn't even know was a thing. Like
Yeah.
like you have an asymmetrical face, and I'll take a selfie and like, oh my god, they're
I have
right.
an asymmetrical face.
I never even noticed this, and now I'm just like super self-conscious about it. Like it just sucks, but people are mean.
Yeah, people are mean. Do you think like you like don't have didn't have the personality or like personality type to have a social media following? Because I sometimes think like that. But not anymore. But I remember initially I was like, I'm not cut out for this shit.
Like before I had a following even?
Like, because you said, like, I've noticed my anxiety is worse with it. Like, and I noticed, like, in the last couple of years once I started growing, like, my anxiety got worse. So it sounds to me like it doesn't mesh well with, like, who you are by nature. Having now an obligation for it to be in the public eye in a sense, and, like putting yourself up to be crucified. That's, like, pretty much what you're doing by putting yourself online. So it
Totally.
Like, do you feel like maybe it's not?
No, I think the pros still outweigh the cons because
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, yes, my anxiety is worse, but like my anxiety was terrible when I had a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Like my 9-to-5 job made my anxiety bad.
What was your 9-to-5 job?
My first job out of school was June of 18, doing dates again. So yeah, I was a copywriter at an ad agency in Chicago, and after 2 months, they let me go.
Why?
I think they just didn't need me. I would literally go in some days and just sit there.
How did they fire you?
It was just a Wednesday afternoon.
You really with dates? Holy shit! This is crazy.
Yeah. I don't understand my brain.
No, that's pretty awesome. But that's fucking.
It was a Wednesday afternoon at like 2:02 p.m. The head honcho came and got me, which he'd never done before. I was like, this is weird. And we're walking to his office. On the way to his office, he's like, so James, these are conversations we don't like to have. And like my heart just sunk. And like I walked into his office and there was a HR lady in there. I'm like, oh fuck. This was like my first job. Like this was my first job. I'll never forget the feeling of like walking out of that office. It was the emptiest I'd ever felt. And I had to like call my dad and tell him.
What did your dad say? Is he like a hard ass or is he like a chill parent?
My dad's an interesting guy. I love him to death.
Interesting in what way?
He's very old school.
Okay.
Really old school guy. But But that makes him sound like he's like a conservative. He's actually very liberal, which is great.
Like old school, define that.
He hates like technology.
I was about to say, yeah.
He falls for all the clickbait articles because he doesn't know any better. Like, wow,
It's like their target audience.
he is. And I like try to tell him like, Dad, a lot of this stuff is bullshit.
Yeah.
But he like feeds into all of it.
Are you similar to your dad? What do you say?
Probably more than I'd like to admit.
In what ways?
Like my dad is like super frugal with his money.
Okay.
Just because he grew up with not much money. And
I think that's a good thing.
it is a good thing. I'm starting to realize that I kind of am too. Like when I was like apartment hunting before I moved here, I was like, all I'm going to get is what I need. Like I don't need anything nice or anything fancy. I don't know. It's almost like on brand for me to like live in a studio apartment. Like my followers think it's hilarious that my kitchen and couch are like,
It is honestly on brand. If you had a nice, like really like decked out apartment, I wouldn't.
People would be thrown off.
I would be thrown off.
Yeah.
I would be weirded out, I think.
Right. I was surprised at like how my followers weren't happy that I was moving to LA. They don't even know what my dreams are, but like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you sell out. This is disgusting. Like you're going to change. And it hasn't happened yet because I just kind of hang out at my house. And
I don't even think you have the desire to like fit in. You know, you're just like you, which I like. You're just like, yeah, fuck it. Like,
I guess.
Because you're not as insecure in that sense of like, I need to be somebody else. Like you said, you've come to figure out who you are now.
Yeah, I know myself really well. Like which is why I think I'm so comfortable with like just hanging out with myself majority of the time. Like,
what do you do? Because I'm the same. So I'm curious because I am really curious what you do alone for that amount of time, especially like your daily routine.
Yeah.
Like from waking up to writing for that amount of time, like do you say anything out loud? Because sometimes I'll go like the whole like 2 days and I haven't said a word out loud.
I talk to myself every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how does it look?
I don't even know.
Like, are you amping yourself up? Like, James, like,
It's-
do this today, or
No,
is it like
it's just like thinking out loud.
Okay.
Like, all right, James, we got to go to the grocery store today. We got to get chicken, avocados, and bread.
It's like James is your like imaginary friend.
Because you have to talk. Like,
Yeah.
because like you said, like, holy shit, I literally haven't spoken in 2 days. Like,
Yeah.
I need to remember how to even speak.
Yeah.
So I'll just talk to myself, or
like get the muscle working out. You mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ideally for me, like I'm alone, like Monday through Friday, and then like on the weekends, that's when I love to just like be with people. But like I know a lot of people who like literally can't even live alone, and
What do you mean can't live alone?
a lot of people can't live alone. Like they
Oh, like
refuse.
they need somebody
Right.
with them at all times. Okay, yeah.
They refuse to be like alone with their thoughts, which is like fair. I totally get it.
Since you're alone with your thoughts so often, do you like would you describe that as like a type of therapy? Like do you get stuff done in terms of like figuring out your feelings and stuff like that? Because I feel like being alone really helps that.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to have any distractions or like run away from how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said, I don't have my mind figured out yet and why it does the things it does, but
Do you is that something that's like you find curious? Like do you think about that? Like is that interesting to you? Like why am I this way? Or is that not really on your radar?
I have thought about that, but I can't figure it out, and that's why I think I want to go to therapy, because I think maybe they would know and like be able to explain it to me.
Okay.
Is this going all right? We're getting deep, dude. We're getting deep. We're talking about mental health, man.
Well, it's like what's interesting because like
It is.
I'm learning a lot about you in this.
So like as bad as Twitter is for your mental health, it's normalized mental health for me, because so many people, that's like a lot of people's brands on Twitter. It's just like tweeting about their terrible mental health.
Yeah.
So like I said, like growing up, my parents never talked about it, still don't like doing it. So when I saw it being normalized on Twitter, now I don't even feel weird talking about it. I think it's just like a really normal thing. So
Well, that's like the beauty of what the internet did kind of with the specific topic of mental health. Like now it's so open to talk about how like shitty you're doing that didn't exist 10 years ago. Like it wasn't cool to hate your life 10 years ago.
right. Well, and that's another reason why I love Twitter so much, is because like you go on Facebook or Instagram. No one really goes on Facebook anymore. I don't even have it on my phone right now.
I don't have it
but
either.
You go on there and it's all about making your life seem perfect. Whereas Twitter is like the complete opposite.
So
like,
true.
And that's another reason why I love Twitter is like people are a lot more honest about their lives and just like how not everything's great, because like you will feel shitty when you go on Instagram and see people's stories of them just doing all these cool stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I wish I was doing that. And then you go on Twitter and someone's just like, fuck, I just got out of bed and it's like 3 p.m. You're like, see, that makes me feel better about myself, you know? Like
I guess like Instagram's just like the entertainment aspect. You see like kind of the lavish lifestyles that like people, it's clearly part of our wiring to enjoy watching that to some degree.
Totally.
And then Twitter is where you go to relate to people. So like people's words, and and you relate to the things that are negative or that you relate to the things that are like you don't have your life figured out. Just like who really does. And, and Instagram is just kind of the tease that everyone does.
And I think it's like a beautiful thing that Twitter is word driven. And I know like a lot of people like to say today, like, oh, kids don't even read books anymore because they're on TikTok. It's cool that like just words can still be like a form of entertainment. Yeah.
Twitter's though, for me, like the most toxic because it's word driven and because it's short form. So it encourages like outbursts, not real conversation.
It's for sure more toxic because that's where a lot of people go off to blow off steam. You can't really be mean on Instagram. You can be like through DMs, but like people will literally tweet mean things about someone like openly, like this singer sucks, and it will go like viral. Like that's not a thing on Instagram.
No,
you can't. Hateful things don't go viral on Instagram.
That's true. Yeah,
and it's become
Twitter
very normalized.
Hate. Yeah, now
it's become very normalized to just like hate on things on Twitter. That's like half of Twitter is just hating on stuff.
It is. It's probably even more than half of Twitter. Yeah, to be honest with you.
And people do it because they get positive responses. Like like I've seen, like you are obviously aware of like Brockhampton.
What? Which part?
The rap group.
Yeah. Wait, what happened with Brockhampton?
People just like Twitter turned on them. Like Twitter hates Brockhampton.
Wait, why?
I don't know. But
like a Nickelback.
There was one like viral tweet like, I'm so embarrassed of my Brockhampton phase, and it went viral. And since people saw like, oh, you can get likes for hating on Brockhampton, cool. And now there's just like, you see those tweets everywhere.
Is it similar to Nickelback? Kind of just like this was a trend everyone hopped on, and now it's just like you're like weird if you don't hate them for no reason. Yeah,
I think it's kind of like that, but I think they're a lot more like vicious. Like Nickelback's just kind of like a light joke, where like people are
but Nickelback's like genuine. Like numbers went down. Like they really? Genuinely hit hard from people hating them so much.
Really? I to be honest, I wasn't even aware of that.
Wait, really? The Nickelback thing?
I knew they're like I know they're like a punchline now. Yeah. Like people love tweeting about Nickelback as like a joke. It's sad. It's super sad.
It's sad because it's undeserving, and it just highlights the part of people that love to be evil, you know, like there's a part of people that genuinely like get off to like hating other people.
Yeah, and like I'd be lying too if I haven't had tweets that like hate on things. Like I've hated on people on Twitter, and I've been doing my best to stop. For example, it'd be like me tweeting something about like Jake Paul or something, who's just like the easiest target. Like and he's used to it too, I'm sure.
Well,
he's probably
he likes
not.
that you're tweeting about him.
He probably does like it. Yeah, but like even like people who are just like so universally hated, I'm like, I should stop like even talking about them. Like I hate on TikTok because I kind of hate TikTok, but
same. I feel you. Yeah.
But no, I really reflected with myself. I'm like, okay, why do I hate TikTok? I'm like, because they're fucking taking over right now. Yeah. And it's a jealousy thing. I'll be honest. I'm jealous of like these TikTokers who are blowing up and making millions of dollars. And then I thought about it more and more. I'm like, okay, if I was them, I would make millions of dollars doing what they do. I would do the exact same thing. Yeah. I would absolutely record myself like winking at the camera and doing like a little shake. If it meant I would make millions of dollars a year,
buy your family a house.
I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And these TikTokers get so much hate, but people need to just like really think to themselves. And I literally just came to this conclusion like a month ago. Like, I can't even hate on them. I would do the same thing.
You should get TikTok. I think you would kill it on TikTok.
Well, the only reason I'm like holding back now is because I've hated on it so much. Where
Like,
I would
publicly,
look
have you?
like on Twitter.
Okay,
Like
so
I've shit
now you
talked
can't.
TikTok so much on Twitter where now I'm gonna look like such a hypocrite. Like, hey guys, I'm on there now. Come follow me.
You should just tweet like leading up to it that you're hinting at getting a TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, guys, like I've kind of changed my tune. I might get a TikTok, so they're not as surprised. Lead them up to it. But I think that you would kill it on TikTok because you like the short videos.
Yeah, like I'm just starting to get back into making videos again.
Did you ever do Vine and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Oh,
Were you
yeah.
big on Vine?
No, but I
But you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, and I would be funny. I tried to be funny on Vine.
Have
And
you
like,
ever thought about acting? Like doing like kind of like sketch comedy, stuff like that?
yeah, I would like to.
Have you taken any classes like improv?
No, which is bad.
You would kill improv because you're so quick. I think you would
Maybe.
come alive in improv. Like it would make you nervous because it makes everyone nervous because it's like very scary.
Yeah.
But you would just kill it once you got over that.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
initial.
I used to do a lot of stand-up, actually. I did stand-up comedy before I had a following on Twitter.
In Chicago? Mm-hmm. That's sick. How did you get into so were you always kind of just like the weird funny guy?
Well, the thing is like if you talk to like my best friends or even my family, like I'm pretty quiet. Mm-hmm. Like basically for me, I'm totally comfortable with like being, you know, the guy in the room who's like leading conversation or being that clown in the room, but I only do it if I have to, which is like almost never. Cause like out of my best friends, all of them love to talk. All of them love to be funny. And I literally just like sit back and enjoy the show. Like I'll of course like add to the conversation, but I'm definitely not like the center of attention. But as far as like online, I've always been weird and goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which throws people off because I'm
Like an
quiet.
introvert
And
in
they're like,
person.
oh, this is weird. Like,
Well, it sounds like you're just introverted. Like you like to spend time alone. You're more quiet. You won't do it unless you have to, which is an interesting
yeah.
like choice of words, you know?
Yeah. Which is, like I said, it's almost never.
Yeah, you don't need it.
No.
Yeah.
And I wish I don't know. I wish I was definitely like more extroverted.
There it is.
I wish I was more of a socialite for sure because I don't know. I think it would just be better for me to like get out more.
Yeah.
But it's convenient for now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So COVID, I'm like, I'm
You're like,
cool.
I'm
Like
killing
my
it
life
right
isn't
now.
really that different. But I do crave like at least being with friends once a week.
Yeah.
Like I need that.
Yeah.
And when I don't get that, that kind of takes a toll on me. But at least it's not like every day I have to be with a group of people.
Is that kind of why you see yourself more like the writing take on it? Because like you're not the one delivering the jokes, but you're writing it for the people. Like, so is that kind of where you see yourself because you feel more introverted? You aren't like your friends that like take that role on very happily. You will sit in the back and just like have the jokes in your head. And don't need to say it.
Oh, it's bad because I have conversations within my head too much where like I'll be in a room with people and I'll like sometimes like laugh to myself and they'll look at me like
because you're just telling yourself your own
exactly,
jokes,
and
yeah.
I just don't say it out loud. Usually I'll just tweet it. Like that's what I'll do.
Twitter gave you a voice almost because like you were able to now say the wittiness from the comfort of a screen.
Totally. For sure. But I would be comfortable and I do want to get back into doing like live shows. Like I want to do stand up again. Because I love doing it. Like I said, I'm comfortable being the center of attention if I have to. And when you're doing stand up, you have to. You're the one on stage. And I'm cool with it. I love it. It's almost like a refreshing thing to be like, wow, like all these people are listening to me speak. This never happens. So it's cool. But
Is that outside your comfort zone?
stand up?
Yeah.
No, I love it.
So that's easy for you.
Yeah.
Because that would be terrifying for me.
Yeah. Like
Just terrifying.
I would rather speak to 1 million people than like this. I'm not even joking.
No, I know you're not kidding.
It's almost like there's so much pressure. There's no pressure. If that makes sense. Like
That's
you can't even
interesting.
allow yourself to fuck up. Like it can't even cross your mind because because if you do, it's just like terrible. Like I don't know. Like
but that's like the opposite of logic, you know? It's like
It
there's
is.
so much pressure, so I'm going to be fine. And then the non-pressure situations, this is going to terrify me.
Right,
Like
like
that
this.
just doesn't
Like this,
make
like-
sense to me. Because this, like, if I was on someone's podcast, I would be like, it's going to be fine. Anything in front of a crowd, I feel like most people feel like that word. That's fuck no. Like that is terrifying. So it's interesting to me that you take the opposite approach.
No, it's funny because like I said, my friends or my family who love to steal the show when it's just us, they would be terrible on stage. Like they would shit themselves. But then I'm the quiet one and would love to go up on stage. I don't know. It's very
You're
weird.
like a dark horse. You just kind of like sit in the back and like have all of these kind of things you're sitting on. You don't let anyone know. And then you can just like get up on stage and do a stand up. Like what like that's pretty fucking random.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
Do you see that though?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm a weird guy, I think.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I can see that for sure.
People, I don't think anyone,
I think it's a good thing, by the way.
I don't think anyone like feels like they know me like really well. And that's not even like intentional. Yeah. It's just because like I said, I'm a pretty quiet guy. I don't think they quite have me figured out. I don't really have myself figured out. I mean, I do, but I don't. If that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
no one really has their
no
selves
one
figured out,
no
to
one
be
does.
honest with
No
you.
one does.
Do you feel like your Twitter is like a persona you have to keep up with?
Okay, I've thought about this a lot. If you ask my best, like I said, if you ask my best friends, my family, and they're like, is James like Caucasian James? They would say absolutely not. So this is the question, like, what is the real me, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is the actual real me? The real me isn't when I'm with my best friends and when I'm with my family.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more comfortable around them and more down to act goofy around them, but I'm not, I'll always have a little bit of a guard up. But when I'm alone in my apartment, like I'm Caucasian James. Like the conversations I have, like
Totally.
I do dance around my apartment by myself. Like
Yeah.
I just do the goofiest shit when I'm alone. Like, so Caucasian James, I think really is the real me.
Yeah.
But no one will ever meet him. I'm the only one that really
Yeah.
knows him.
Yeah.
It's weird, but
Do you feel like it's an alter ego kind of situation?
uh,
But I guess it's not alter ego if you feel like it's your genuine self.
Caucasian James is what's going on in my head.
I was about to say Caucasian James is like the charismatic chip of you, I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like all your wittiness, and it's like there's like a vein in you that's Caucasian James that you can tap into, and
Yeah.
you tap into and it goes on Twitter. And it's
I
the
definitely-
goofy part of you. Correct me if I'm wrong. It can be so off.
No, you're right. You're right. It is something I will like tap into. But it's also, I don't know. I think
What about, have you ever had a serious girlfriend?
no,
I mean, I'm the same as you. Don't even trip. But
I'm not.
so that's like a part, because like there is a part of you that like doesn't want to show. I guess like every person and human has like a set of like intimacy issues and this kind of issues and blocks and whatever.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have intimacy issues with the people around you.
Kind of. Well,
And that's okay.
no,
That's
I've
like,
thought about it because I'm 26 now.
yeah.
And I've thought about it. I'm like, is it weird that I've never had a serious girlfriend? I'm like, that's kind of weird, right? So I like dug into it and I thought about it. I'm like, I wouldn't even like consider dating someone in middle school. Like, wouldn't even cross my mind. But high school was like, oh, okay. Like, I would have a girlfriend, I guess. And I had like two big crushes in high school. And the way I was and kind of still am today is like, I have my main crush. And if I can't have her, I'm not dating anyone else. Like I only want to date her. And of course, the two girls I had crushes on in high school were like, you know, the most beautiful girls in the school. Like,
Yeah.
And of course, they had boyfriends throughout high school. But I didn't even care. I'm like,
Were you friends with them? Like, was there
yeah,
a chance?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
Okay, hell
friends.
yeah.
And I never like would try to like cross the line of like flirting because they had like boyfriends. But
Yeah.
like I secretly had just like the biggest crush on them. And I was like, I can only date. I wouldn't even consider dating anyone else but you, even though they have a boyfriend. So like that's like I think why I never have been in a serious relationship, because like for whatever reason I'm like,
Do you think you purposely?
it's number one or no one. Like,
Do you think there's a part of you that subconsciously doesn't choose girls that are single?
I've thought about that too. I'm like, do I only want you because you're taken?
Like, do I only want you because like this is an easy person to want because there's no real risk of me ever actually having to commit to you because it's not going to happen.
God, maybe.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it.
That could be true. No, I've thought about that. Like, yeah, no, like, because there are people like that, like who want someone more just because they're taken.
Yeah.
Because it's like a jealousy thing, maybe. And I was like, what is that? What it was? I'm like,
yeah.
No, I legitimately just thought these were like the coolest, most beautiful girls in my life at the time.
People long for the impossible precisely because it's impossible. You know, that's why we want it, because it's impossible.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
People like long for the impossible precisely because it's impossible.
Weird.
It's true though. It's a very
elaborate on that.
Well, it's part of a quote actually. But
okay.
It's people want the impossible because they'll never get it. And it's like one of the hardest kind of heartbreaks of life is like we will forever want what we can't have because we can't have it. It's just like a weird part of us.
And if you do somehow get it, it doesn't like make you any happier.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate. Yeah. I'm very passionate about like the idea of like true happiness like doesn't exist.
James.
No. Like think about it. Think about it. Like
think about it.
Like
define true happiness.
Let me say this. Like I remember thinking like when I had 3,000 followers on Twitter, I was like, man, if I had 10,000 followers on Twitter, I'd feel like the fucking man. Yeah. I bet I would be really content probably for like ever. And then you hit it. And you get like a little rush. You're like, oh, cool. And then you're like, wait, no, I need more. Like I guess what I'm saying is you will always want more.
Yeah.
Because you get used to your situation and it'll never be enough.
I agree with you in the sense like as people we're like programmed to become dissatisfied with our life over time and with people over time. Like even if you got that girl, like I'm sure a part of you after like 50 years of marriage or whatever it is would become very dissatisfied with this girl that was like once your everything.
Yeah,
so
that's why marriage scares me so much.
Because you're scared of falling out of love.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm now at the age now too where like I'm 26. So this is where like everyone from college and high school are getting engaged and married. And like, I think so many people just get married because they're like, well, we're at that age. We're at that age and you're the person I'm dating. So like, I think a lot of people almost like lie to themselves. Like I'm in love with you, but it's like you were in how many relationships before this? I think that's why, the divorce rate is so high. Cause
people don't,
you dated for 2 years and then you're like, let's spend the rest of our life together. And that's just not realistic.
People don't get it right like that. They don't. But to your point about you gaining traction and then realizing this isn't going to make me happy, I think it comes down to like what you're valuing, and like career and things like that. Like they can give you somewhat of a purpose of like if you've made an empire and you've helped a bunch of people and you've like changed some part of the world with your impact, that can give you purpose and that can make you happy. But I maybe I'm like corny for saying this, but I really believe it comes down to like the relationships in your life. And like, that's what really makes you happy. It's like the fulfillment you get from the relationships of people you have.
Super true.
So, but it sounds like you have like a wall up for that to happen. And that might be part of the reason why you feel like something's missing or you feel like sad. Is because you're not like willing to have someone really get to know you, and that the feeling of someone truly knowing you just like scares the shit out of you. And it's like, do you feel like you've like numbed yourself a little bit?
To what? Like life in general?
Yeah. To hurt maybe? To being vulnerable?
I don't know. This is so deep. I'm like scared.
I don't mean.
I don't need therapy. Let's just do this once a week. Like I'll pay you.
I know. I'm like obsessed with. I don't know. My friends always say I talk like a therapist to them. But it's interesting to me. I don't know. I can't help it.
It's a really good question, and I think I would have to. I don't think I can answer that right now. I think I like need to really think about it.
And that's completely fair.
It's something I need to like reflect on. Yeah. Like, is she right about that?
And I literally could be so off. You know, this is just an assumption I'm making. Or not even an assumption.
So are you
it's
saying
just,
like
I'm raising the question.
I think like if a woman came in my life right now and I really, really liked her, I think I'm open to like dating someone.
Yeah.
I don't think I would like be like, James, you're falling too much in love. Like you need to end this.
Yeah.
I'm like now reflecting on like everything. Like, is this what I do? Like, do I push people away? No, I don't. I don't think that's
mean
true.
to put this on you to like make you anxious.
I don't think I push people away. I just think.
I think. Do you
know.
like just keeping a part of yourself for you? Like you don't crave intimacy. I mean,
I think
deeply you probably do.
I think ideally, like I said earlier, like if I was in a relationship, ideally Monday through like Friday, I'm by myself. Like it's just me. And then like on the weekends, like let's spend all weekend together.
Yeah.
Because on weekends is like when I'm, like I said, I want to be with people.
So if you
like,
dated someone, that's how it would be. Like on the weekends, you would see them. You're so funny.
I think I think a lot of women would be against that. They'd be like, I want to see you more.
They would probably want to see you. They probably want to spend the whole week with you.
And I wouldn't want that.
So you really value alone time.
I really do. I love being alone.
Okay.
And it's not even like a pretentious thing. I just
I know.
I just like being alone for the most part. But yeah, like Sundays, like I said, when I get like
Sundays, I'll kick it with her.
On Sundays, I just want to be held in my bed so bad. I'm like, God damn, I want a girlfriend so bad every Sunday. Because like I know when I'm feeling depressed or sad, they would make me feel so much better. Like those are the days especially. And then I'll wake up Monday and I'll be like, I don't need anyone. Like, let's get to work. Like, here we go. It's a cycle. We would still talk. It's not like I wouldn't talk to her Monday through Friday. Let's talk on the phone. Like,
what would be like? Do you like being alone because you feel like you're most productive and you're the
Totally.
best version of yourself when you're alone?
Totally.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you can't. Do you feel like you can't share that with someone? Like I don't know the answer to that. Like, is that an actual just no?
Sometimes I'm able to do it. Like when I'm in a room with people, I don't like to be on my phone. Or when I'm with anyone, I don't like to be on my phone. But like, unfortunately, right now, my career is like being on my phone. It's tweeting. And I can only like tweet when I'm by myself. And
Why can't, like you can only think of the tweets?
Yeah, because like that's when I'm just sitting there and I'm just letting my mind spin and run. And that's just when my best funny thoughts come to me. But a lot of times too, it will come out of conversation as well.
I think that part of what you like how you operate is loneliness, you know? Like I think it's part of it. And that's fine.
Totally.
Because like you're comfortable with being by yourself, that it doesn't feel like loneliness because like you yourself is your best friend, right?
It's true. That's true.
And that's a beauty in itself. Like that's very hard to achieve for many people. So it's not like you actually have a strength in some ways that many people won't ever get to.
I think you're right. One thing this is kind of, well, it's similar to the topic, but like my buddy, one of my friends here, he has a girlfriend and they live together. And he sent me an apartment yesterday that they're looking at. It's like a 1-bedroom, but it's so nice. But like they're not even paying that much because they're splitting rent. I'm like, man, maybe I should get a girlfriend to split rent with. We can get a really nice place. But I don't
like the practical
it's
elements of having a girlfriend, like what
know.
would actually like nothing to do with any sort of emotional. I would love someone to hold me on a Sunday when I'm sad. I would love someone to split my rent with me.
It's all I'm looking for. Someone to hold me on Sundays and split rent with.
Do you want to like fall in love with someone? Like, is that on your agenda?
I do, because I think that's like one of the big parts of life. Like I would hate to die and I've never been in love.
Yeah.
I would hate to die and like say.
And not experience it.
Yeah.
I think we're similar in the sense
I'm scared though. It's very scary.
No, yeah. I think because someone has asked me that exact question and my exact answer is what you said is I have to experience it because it's such an important part of life, but it's like not really on my agenda.
No, it's not on my agenda,
No.
but I would like to. I'm scared about how, like, I'm scared to death if I like dated a woman and I fell in love with her and say we're together for like 3 years and like she broke my heart. I don't know how I would react. Like, I've had things with girls for like a few weeks, and when it ended, I was just like so sad for like a week.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
This is a specific
I'm
scenario.
like, will I be sad, like really down in the dumps for like a whole year? Like,
Yeah.
how long will it last? That I'm afraid to find out.
Yeah. I think you're scared and you reject the like any sort of possible outcome where you get hurt. And that's probably why it's like safer to be alone.
It is safer to be alone, but like I said, I think it would be, you have to, or at least I would like to experience it. Do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Do you want to have kids?
Well, like right now, the thought of having a child is just like,
Not now, obviously. But like, do you see that when you envision your future? What does it look like?
well, I think like, I've thought about this, or like, I think so, but ideally it would be like when I'm like 35.
I think that's fine for guys.
I think that's what it should be.
I think so too. It's different for girls, like biologically, like they have to have kids younger than that.
Right.
But for a guy, like you just have a younger wife who's like 30, or you like 28. You're 35.
Yeah.
I'm planning this out for you.
28. Oh, wow. Well, like,
No, your girlfriend will be 28 and you'll be 35. So she's perfect age to have kids, and you're 35. You're perfect age to have kids.
yeah, I think I would only want to have kids if I were in love.
That is a very fair sentence.
Because I think like the most romantic thing you can do with somebody is have a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Also, why have a child with someone you aren't madly in love with? Why make that lifelong commitment with someone?
Right. And obviously, people have accidents, unfortunately, but pray it doesn't happen to me. Because I have so much sex, it could happen. It could happen tonight.
I didn't even think about that component.
What?
The whole,
Accidentally having a child?
No, like the whole like do you date? I don't. Or do we not want to get?
No. Let's talk about it. Not really.
Okay.
So when I moved here, I downloaded Bumble just for
Okay.
entertainment. Majority of the women I match with know who I am, and they're very straight open, like right away. Like they're like, "Oh my God, Caucasian James." I'm like, "God damn it."
So is that like to you? You're like, can't date this girl.
Pretty much.
So
yeah.
we can't date.
No. Okay, so the reason why I can't date a follower is I can relate more to someone, and it sounds so kind of like snotty almost, but like I would rather date someone who like has a following too, I guess. And I say that because they can relate to you more. But the funny thing is the part that they need to relate to is that this isn't that cool. But people who don't have a following think like, "Oh, you're so cool." It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like,
you want them
that's
to
the
look
part-
at you like a human being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all I want. I applied to be on Raya.
Did you get rejected?
I got rejected,
kidding?
dude.
Wait, really?
They waitlisted me.
Interesting.
And I was like,
I think I have like friend things like
no, I got that.
and it still didn't
People
work.
gave me referrals. They didn't let me in.
That's
I was
so interesting.
I was trying to think why, and I was
There's
like,
some losers on that app, so I don't know how you didn't get accepted.
I
and
mean-
these guys are getting accepted.
I was a little thrown off by it.
Do you think about girls or not really?
What do you mean? Like,
Like, do you have that desire in you to like date I guess like, yeah, like is the desire even there? Like, is there a part of you that like wants to like actually date a girl, love a girl, have someone love you? Like, is that kind of just like, that's kind of what's just gonna happen?
you know what I think it is? I think because I've never had it, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like drinking. Like,
Yeah.
before I ever drank, I didn't need to drink. Like,
That's actually a really good
I didn't need to drink to have fun.
awareness. Yeah.
But once I drank once, I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have fun tonight, I need to have a few beers. But since I've never had a girlfriend, I don't think I've ever experienced like the great things about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they are. And because of that, I don't need it because I don't know what I'm missing out on.
Do you have a strong relationship with your parents? Like, do you like an intimate relationship in the sense where like you are comfortable saying I love you to them and hugging them?
Yeah, I do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, we hug and say we love each other.
And is it like a warm feeling, or is it kind of like, I love you, mom?
No, it's a warm
Okay,
feeling.
okay.
It's a warm feeling. Like, my mom sobbed when I left.
Okay. So you have a good family situation.
great family situation. Like earlier, you were mentioning like trauma and stuff. I think I had like the best childhood ever.
That's awesome.
I really do. Like I had amazing siblings, great parents. I had great friends growing up. I wouldn't say I have like any childhood trauma.
Like, I'm sure you
I'm
do,
very lucky.
but I mean, like, not like real standing out in comparison to what it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
everyone has it to a degree. Is what
like
I'm
the only thing
saying,
I can think of is like I got bullied in middle school. That was like probably the only hardship I had when I was a kid. Like really. So I can't complain.
It gave you some humility as well.
Totally.
I'm very curious in like your dynamic with. It sounds like just love and intimacy and girls. It's interesting. Because like now you've built up such a strong thing for yourself where I believe you when you say you don't need it. Like I actually believe you because I don't think you do.
No.
But
I bet if I had experienced like true love before, I would be wanting it now. But
yeah.
Since I've never had it, I don't need it.
You're like, I'm just going to keep the ball rolling this way.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Did you ever have like any short-term girlfriends?
No.
Because
I've had like things with women.
Okay.
They've just like never really turned out to be a long-term thing.
not the right girl kind of thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Or like and it wasn't always just me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was moments where they're the ones who ended it. Like,
I think that's fine. You're going at your own pace, you know? This is just your reality.
well, I'm worried now too, like that I'm going to be like the worst boyfriend because I've never done it.
I don't think so.
Like I've had zero like I like what if I like do find the woman of my dreams and like we date, but since I have no experience, I'm just like the worst.
The only way you can really fuck up is if you just like take no consideration for their feelings. Like
Yeah,
if you
which I
just
wouldn't
have
do.
that, and so I know you, and
I would not do.
you have a good heart.
Yeah,
I think that you would be a fine boyfriend.
I think so too. I don't think I would.
You're also smart. You're not an idiot.
I'm 21 on the ACT.
That's smart to me.
It's average.
Okay, so you're an average intelligence. You're a
Average
quick
intelligence.
thinker. I think you'll make a fine boyfriend.
Thank you.
I'll give some referrals.
Can you really?
Yes.
Be great.
What's like your type? Like what are we looking for?
I don't even know.
Do you not have one?
Not really.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Well, it was Zendaya, but I forced myself out of that.
Okay.
So I stopped tweeting at her.
So do you like mixed girls? Or do you just like
anything?
Zendaya's just like Zendaya also.
She's just fucking Zendaya.
That's what I mean.
Who doesn't love Zendaya?
That's kind of, yeah. She's kind of
She's
just like she's like her own blueprint.
The hottest
of
person out right now.
A goddess,
She's
yeah.
the queen of Hollywood at the moment.
So do you have no type?
No.
No kind of features you're attracted to? No personality type you're attracted to?
This might sound cheesy, but I think the only thing I really look for is like individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I come from a place where like everyone acts the same.
Well, you've come to the right place.
I think
This is
so.
the land of individuals. No
Right.
one is a copy. I mean, you'll find them, but this is pretty much where people come
Yeah.
that
And
are bolder.
That was a big reason why I moved here is because in Chicago, like all my friends have like 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like the opposite almost.
Yeah.
Like
I think
this
you've
is where
come
everyone-
where you belong.
yeah,
I don't think
so
you
too.
belonged in Wisconsin, to be honest with you. I think you noticed that you were very different from your peers, and you had no ego, so you could still kick it and have a good time. But there's more for you.
Yeah.
There is
but those
more.
are still my best friends.
I still have my best friends from my hometown,
Yeah.
totally. But there's more for you in terms of your story.
Totally.
And you notice that.
And it's only that like I very, very easily could have fallen into the get engaged and I would have if this Twitter thing never happened. I probably would. There's a decent chance I'd be engaged right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Damn.
because like if I worked a 9 to 5, which I was and which what I was planning on doing, like if I'm being realistic, I didn't think this was gonna happen. Yeah, I think I would have probably went that route.
Like I could totally see you killing it as a comedy writer. I mean, you kind of already doing that.
Yeah, that's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Just to work on I'm writing something with somebody. We'll see if the odds it even happens probably low, but it's like I have to try.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I would rather fail and find out than think what if for the rest of my life. That's kind of my motto.
Also too, like if this is shit, like at least you're getting like, have you heard that like faucet reference of like when you turn the faucet and like brown water comes out and you have to let all the brown water flow out until it's clear? You're just letting all the brown water flow out of you because
I've never heard that.
you have to do that first before the clear water flows out.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's what I keep in mind when I'm developing a new skill or trying something new. I'm like, just remember, like, this is all the brown water of shittiness that's going to go through you right now.
Right. That's interesting. I've never thought of that.
What?
You're from Canada.
I'm from Canada, yeah.
You guys have built a UFO landing,
Didn't know
which I'm
this.
assuming is like a joke. Like,
I had no idea.
you guys have bagged milk.
Yes. I grew up with bagged milk.
And the third one is you have a polar bear jail. Which, again, I was like, this can't be real.
That's crazy.
But it was real. You have a fucking polar bear jail. Like,
for polar bear criminals? Like,
that's what I was
that?
saying.
Yeah,
And
for
I was
what?
like-
Aren't they extinct anyways? Like, going extinct.
They are going extinct.
Isn't that the terrible news to have a polar bear jail?
I was really thrown off by it. I was
Sounds
hoping
very
you could
immoral.
explain. So how does like bagged milk work?
So essentially, you literally have like in your
It's
your
like a
fridge.
wine bag.
In your fridge, you have like something like this that it's for your milk. Like you have it doesn't look like this, but it's for your milk, like an empty container, and you put the bagged milk in there and you cut off the corner and then you go like that. And you just buy the bags of bagged milk. Like it will be in like a plastic bag like that.
Interesting. You didn't go to college, right?
No.
Do you ever
Plan to go?
No, do you ever like think like, man,
What if?
I wonder what college was like.
Well, I thought I was going to go to college. I
Yeah.
like moved to the States planning to go to UCLA. That was like my computer password to go. Like I really thought that was, and then I just got scouted to model, and my dad actually was the one who was just like, school is always going to be waiting for you. Like just do this.
Very true.
Yeah. And I still want to go back to school. And I think I will. I'm
Yeah.
almost like 100% positive I will.
Yeah.
But not now. Like now I'm having fun right now. And I'm growing. What does like your family think of this career path?
They've handled it in like the best way. Like they don't have Twitter, they don't have Instagram. My parents don't see anything I post, but they're totally aware it's happening. And I think my mom's cool with it because my mom's friends follow me on Instagram and they always go to her like, oh my God, James is so funny. So for my mom, that's like enough. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool then.
Yeah.
If my friends like it. Well, it's funny because like, and I've thought about if this has anything to do with how I turned out, but like every one of my siblings has a label.
A label?
Like my older brother is the oldest.
Okay.
My older sister is the only girl.
Okay.
And then my younger brother is the youngest. But it's like, what am I?
That's how you
I
look at
literally-
it though.
But I don't have a label. Like,
But
it's
you're
just,
probably to them, like they don't look at it as birth order, as the gender. They probably are like, you're like, oh yeah, my brother's like the funny, charismatic one that's like super weird and like
But
has
I'm-
this like online thing that's like very different and like off the beaten trail. Like that to them is probably, you probably stand out a lot to them in that way. You just look at it maybe to yourself as like, where am I? Do I fall on this food chain of?
no, I yeah, for sure. But like, I just think it's funny. Well,
It's just funny how people perceive themselves versus how how you're probably actually
I know
perceived.
they don't. I know they don't look at it that way. I just like thought about that one day. Like, I'm the only one who doesn't have a label.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that kind of gives you the freedom to go under the radar, to do whatever you want. Does it not?
I guess. I don't know.
Feel like
Do you have
feel-
siblings?
Yeah,
You do, right?
I have an older sister who's 25, and then 2 younger siblings.
Interesting. Are you and your sister close?
Not really, but we didn't like talk when we were younger.
Yeah, I feel
But-
like that happens.
Yeah, she and the older sister dictates it, right? Like the younger sibling's always down to be friends.
True.
But if the older sibling's not down, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But then she's now down to be friends. So now
Got
we're
it.
kind of like working through that intimacy issue of like,
Got it.
so we're going to be cool now in
Got
our
it.
adult life. It's very weird. And I'm working on it. But no, I honestly feel you in so many of your like intimacy problems because, and I don't even judge or like care because like I just relate, it's just
Yeah.
like how it is,
Yeah.
it's just how it's been for you. You don't really get to choose it. And honestly, I think having a certain level of blockage for things helps you a lot. It lets you get other stuff done. So I don't even think it's that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have siblings. No complaints. But I do like doing my own thing. Same as you. Just truly navigating life alone. When you picture your future, what does it look like? I know it's almost like hard to say like too like what you want for your future because it's like, but can I do that? Like, can I? It's like awkward to say, or it's like I don't have the confidence to say certain things yet. So
Yeah.
I understand that you
Yeah.
just kind of want it, but you don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Is it kind of that situation?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, no, and also I like the mystique. I do.
No, I believe
I don't
you.
want people to know what I want.
Okay, we can leave it at that.
I'm totally fine telling you guys.
Okay.
I
So
like,
you'll tell me later.
I like my Twitter followers not knowing. I think it's funny.
Okay.
Because it bothers them, and I think it's funny. I think I'm gonna get a cat.
No,
Why?
don't get a cat.
Why?
'Cause you will never expand once the cat's there.
I don't expand anyways.
You're
I
like,
don't leave my
hey,
place.
I'm not planning on expanding.
I don't leave my place. I can still.
I say get
expand
a
in what way?
dog if
No, that's even worse. That's more of a responsibility.
it's more of a responsibility, but like with a cat is like this is gonna sound. It's like a lonely person pet because it's always there. You don't have to do anything outside, and you become now. So now your cat is like your equivalent of your relationship. Like a relationship, it's something you like care for. Oh, I gotta go home. I gotta feed the cat. Like it's like
Yeah.
something now you have a responsibility for. Versus for a dog, like you go out, take them for a walk. It's more social. You'll meet people in the park. There's some element to it that's like less
So you think if I got
putting
a cat,
yourself under a rock.
you think if I got a cat,
I'll never see you again if you get a cat.
You wouldn't. Like I said, I don't leave anyways.
I'm scared
without
that
one.
I'm scared you'll build like if you get a cat, you'll build and all the love that you have inside of you that you don't give to girls, you'll give to this cat. And that's what I'm
So I
worried
already
about.
have this wall built up. Once I get this cat, it's
You're
over.
going to give it to the cat, and I know
Over.
it's going to be some symbolic thing. And
you,
I
you
just
could
see it.
absolutely be true with that.
I just don't.
Because it'd be the first thing I've shown real intimacy
Yeah,
towards.
that's what
and I'll
I'm
be like,
thinking.
and this is the only thing I'm now gonna, because the only thing I trust.
And it's going to become this like thing for you. And when it dies, it's going to be like,
I'm so mad you're talking me out of this. Because I've been like strongly considering it. I've never had a pet in my life.
Okay.
Not growing up. So I'm kind of scared in that way because I'm scared I'll fail it because I just have never, I don't know how to train a kitten.
everyone like goes into shoes though that they haven't filled before. That's part of like doing.
Yeah, I feel like I
doing
wouldn't
something you've
regret
never
it.
done.
I'm mad you've talking me out of this.
Am I talking?
You're the only one. Well, you're not the only one. My parents don't like cats.
You're better than a cat. That's my takeaway. I feel like you deserve better than a cat. I feel like we should get you a
So you just don't like cats. Is
I feel
really
like
what this
I
is
grew
stemming
up-
from.
I grew up
You're
with
not.
3 cats
Oh, really?
and a dog. Yeah, so I love cats. I'm a pro cat. I just see this because I can tell you are a sweet guy with a big heart, but you have walls up, and I'm
Charlotte.
worried if you get a cat, it's gonna become symbolic.
Okay, but what if I get a girlfriend?
I think that's great.
But it's the
this is-
same shit. Like it's the same as a cat. Like if I were to fall in love, it would be like the worst version of me. Where like, yeah, you would never see me.
I think with pets though, it's different than like actually having a girlfriend or a boyfriend because like they're not talking to you. It's like it's not a real
Yeah, but I can talk to
relation.
the cat.
Exactly. Like it's more of like a
That's why I want it, so
therapeutic-
I can be done talking to myself.
It's like a therapeutic thing for you, but it's not like a real like push and pull relationship where you have to compromise, you have to change. Like it's basically just a place you can go to let out your, I don't even know, like very to a small degree. That's kind of what it is.
I know.
It's
You're
like
making good points. You really are. And I hate that they're good points.
I think girlfriend is top of the list. What about Kiara? Could Kiara be a future girlfriend?
Who's that? My God. What are you up to tonight? Sure. Oh my God. See, like, Twitter James would have like.
She has some individual style going on.
Do you live here? Who are you? Like, let's get you down here and let's talk about you. I've like flirted with the idea of getting a podcast, but I would only want to do it if it was like a fun, exciting, original concept. Yours is like, you know so many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought about it like if I did a pod, it's just me. Like I would have guests on,
Yeah.
but like yours is every episode guest. And
Yeah.
like I didn't know you were such a socialite. You
Yeah.
know everyone. It's weird.
I'm pretty lucky. Like, I don't even know how I have made so many friends.
How do you meet? Is it going out?
I don't know. You know, like on before I knew you like personally, like on like a human level, I thought like you weren't a real. Yeah, technically now. Or I guess before I ever like talked to you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how we talked to each other on Twitter. But before that, I didn't even think you were like a real person. I thought your header was like a random person, and Caucasian James was just like a perfectly like curated account of like a white boy.
It's crazy because I post my face like a decent amount.
Yeah.
Like, still.
I think it was before I'd seen your videos. I had just seen your
but
your videos came to me as a surprise after.
I'll still post my face on Twitter. Like I could post a selfie right now and I'll get a reply like, "Wait, this is what you look like?" It's like I post my face like 5 times a week. Like,
Cause I feel like I'd seen photos of your face and I thought it was like Google Docs, like you're searching a guy named James, white boy from Wisconsin.
And I do look like that.
Yeah,
I'm just a very
like,
stereotypical looking white guy.
You just fit the characteristics of a white boy named James from Wisconsin. That it's like too much to a T that no one believes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cool that you do.
Well, I'm owning it.
You're owning it.
And I think
you're not just that, and that's why it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I think a reason I like Caucasian James is, it's because a lot of people on the internet today try to be something they're not. Mm-hmm. Like white kids from the suburbs act like they're not white kids from the suburbs. And it's like, why? Just own it. And I literally have just owned that. I do wonder if I'll drop that name at some point because it's just weird. It's goofy.
I think it's like your stage name in a sense. You know
if I'm able to transition out, which is my goal.
Yeah. So would you go by your last name?
I think. Yeah. And I don't know. I almost want to like change my name to like Jimmy.
Your last name?
It's a better famous name.
Your last name or James?
James.
You want to just go by Jimmy?
Jimmy last name.
Okay.
Because it has a lot better flow to it.
I see what you're saying. But James is like you now. You've created such a persona with James.
Yeah, I can't. It's too late now. I can't ditch it. But like when I was doing stand up 4 years ago, I went by Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I just thought it sounded better.
I changed my name, so I understand.
You did change your name.
Yeah.
You're like owning it. Wait, aren't you like... You're like Charlotte Breyer.
Mm-hmm. I put it... Well, it's legally now my middle name.
Really? Oh, yeah, I think you told me that.
It was Breyer, and then I hated it, and I didn't think I would ever do entertainment. So it seems almost like a stage name, Charlotte, but I changed it when I was 16.
When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's her real name. I didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah. No, I tell everyone. I'm like, I feel like it's like some secret I have to tell everyone. I'm like, within the first 2 weeks of knowing me, I'm like, by the way, my real name is Breyer.
D'Alessio?
D'Alessio.
Mm-hmm. Which is like a cool last name.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
You got a good thing going there.
Yeah, but Breyer D'Alessio would have been... I wish I didn't change it, to be honest with you.
Really?
But I was 16, so insecure. And like I just hated.
That's
anything.
What you do when you're young. You hate your name.
Yeah, you hate anything that makes you like a little different. At least
totally,
me, I
totally.
made.
Oh no, it's very true for everyone.
Yeah, and then you like grow up and you're like, wait, that made me different and cool. Like I shouldn't have hated everything that was like not the same as your friends. I don't know.
So you think it's too late to change it back?
Some people call me Briar as like a joke because they think we're like close like that, and they'll be like Briar, and I'm like, yeah, you're so funny. Yeah. But it's so but at the same time when they do it, I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. So it's never fully dead, you know. And it's in my middle name, and like maybe when I'm older, like my like husband will call me that or something, or maybe I'll name my daughter Briar or something like that. Or is that kind of narcissistic? What do you think? No, it's kind of narcissistic.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's normal.
Maybe their middle names could be.
But
Briar.
I think you do put like a weird. You don't even realize it, but I think you're kind of like putting pressure on your kid, naming him after you. Like
that's true.
You got to live up to me now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like that's my older brother. My dad's name is William. He goes by Bill.
Yeah.
But my older brother's name's Will, and I've never talked to him about it. But I wonder if he does feel that pressure of like.
I was actually talking to someone
can't screw this up.
last night about the pressure of like naming your kids after somebody or some like family member, and them having in the back of their head like navigating through life like that shoes you must step into. Like most people don't have, like people have that to a degree, but naming someone something is a direct like, and you tell them the story about who they are and like why it's important and like why you were named this and this is what you have to live up to.
Yeah.
I think it only helps your kid. It can like obviously mind fuck them of like, what if I don't? But like at least it gives them that. I don't know, maybe your
drive.
brother. Yeah, it makes them a little hungrier, I think. Yeah, opposed to just like mindlessly like me going through life of like I don't need to do anything until I realize like that's not how you go through life. I wish I had parents that were like, you need to do something with your life, by the way, but like they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about my parents now. They didn't put like it
pressure
was
on you.
Definitely the expectation that I had to get my college degree. Like that wasn't even an option. Like that's just what you do in my family. Like you go to college and you graduate, which I did. Because all this happened after, but like they let me do what I wanted, I guess is what I'm saying.
They went with the flow, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, they still are. I don't think my dad really realized that I was famous in a way. Mm-hmm. I hate calling myself that, but
some sort of notoriety.
He didn't realize it till I always would take the bus home from Chicago to Madison, which is a college town, which is like more than half of my audience is college kids. And literally I got out of the bus and my dad was parked right by it. And by the time from the bus to his car, I got recognized like by 3 different kids. And he's like, geez, James, like this is real, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, so I think that was the moment for him where he's like, wow, this isn't a joke. Like people know my son. This is weird.
Yeah.
But
when was that?
This was like 2019. You know what I do? Okay, I'm going to ask you first. Because I'm sure people come up to you like, oh my God, are you Charlotte? Like, what does that look like when they come up to you? And like, how do you handle it? Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous. I'm just like, I don't believe it. And I'm like, I feel like they have the wrong person. But I'm like so grateful that I'm so grateful and I don't even understand. Yeah. I'm just like, I love you so much. Thank you. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's like me almost crying every time I'm like, I love you.
When I first started getting recognized, I did that to a fault.
Yeah.
Especially because usually I would get recognized when I was drinking. I would like give him like the biggest bear hug.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like probably violating their space. Just like, oh my God, thank you so much for following me. Because I thought it was just like the coolest thing. But like now I still get, and I'm not used to it at all.
Yeah.
I still get very, very nervous when someone comes up to me. And to the point where like it's honestly embarrassing where they come in like they're the nervous ones, but it's really me. And like I will be the one just like carrying on the conversation to the point where it ends and they're like, all right, dude, I gotta go. And I'm like, oh, sorry, okay. And it should totally be the other way around, right? Like it should be the famous person who's like, all right, dude, I'll see you later. But it's always them. Because I get so nervous and I like keep carrying on the conversation.
It's like a confidence you have to build with that. It's just so uncomfortable because like, I just like don't, most people I feel like don't think of themselves actually as like anything's like genuinely like special.
No,
so it's like,
you don't get used to it when someone comes up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get used to it. And so this is West Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Would you say this is like the hub?
This is the scene hub. Like there's like a scene of people and West Hollywood is the hub
like
of
a bunch
that.
of internet people live here, right?
Yeah, and like TikTokers and like YouTubers are more like Studio City. Like they'll kind of like
really?
live because you can get bigger houses there or like the hills of West Hollywood and Hollywood. But West Hollywood, it has it for sure. It exists. But like the Hype House, those houses, all of those houses are like Studio City.
God.
Or like in
I was
the Hollywood
wondering
Hills.
where they were.
I
know they're not by me.
I'll give you their address.
No. I'm scared they'll attack me or something. I'm like deathly afraid of teenagers. I really am. That's why I'm half the reason I'm not on TikTok. I think they're gonna like destroy me. They're so mean.
TikTok's really mean, but that's
what I've heard. There's like it's like twice.
Ruthless. It's even worse than Twitter.
And they're like 4th graders. My biggest fear is like being out with friends in a post-COVID world and like a 10-year-old being like, Caucasian James. Like that would be the most humiliating thing for me. Like, oh, James, you make content for 10-year-olds? Like,
yeah.
No, I don't. But I feel like if I got on TikTok, that would be like possible. And I don't know. I'm just making excuses not to get on, but I'm scared of like little kids seeing my stuff. I don't want that. I don't want them to know who I am. Is that weird? That's normal, right?
Why? Like,
For
what's
like
the fear
I just think it's like slightly embarrassing that like
that 10-year-old kids would know who you are?
yeah.
But
Because
you're
then
just, like,
people think you
building-
make content for like 10-year-olds.
Yeah, but you're building. But like the thing is, if you're not making content for 10-year-olds, then you're not. 10-year-olds can enjoy the content you're making.
Yeah.
But you're not making kid-friendly content.
Yeah,
you
I
know
guess.
what I mean?
I guess.
You're not like catering to 10-year-olds. You're catering to people. Who would you say? I mean, what would you define your like style of humor? Would you define it like what we were saying earlier? If you're like, I just like my style is like I own being white from Wisconsin. Like, is it kind of like a self-deprecating humor?
No, I mean it can be. I don't know. I think I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you
Really?
tap into all styles. You do. You are kind
I
of.
definitely had more of like a brand. I was definitely more self-deprecating coming up because a huge part of my brand was wanting a girlfriend. I think people were really drawn to like that vulnerability of like, oh, he's alone. That's so funny. Like, I think if you can be like confidently vulnerable, you win, because I think that's what people are drawn to. And I think that's what I try to do. Mm-hmm. Just being open and not being embarrassed about it. Like, I'm not embarrassed that I've never had a serious girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Like, that's okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
I also don't think that's like embarrassing, really. It's also like you could.
Some people think it would
It's
be.
not like you're like some like weird, like unattractive guy that no girls like. Like you definitely could. You just are like, nah. So that's why it's not embarrassing, at least to me.
Yeah. No, that's true.
You have some things going for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you could really
That's
make
true.
this happen if
That's
you
true.
if you
That's
set
true.
your mind to it.
But yeah, I don't know.
It's funny that you don't. And it's funny that you just chill in your room dancing and like tape shit to your ceiling. Like, it's funny to me. Like, I genuinely find it fascinating.
I think a lot of people do. Because, well, that's the thing too. No one thinks I have friends.
I think you have friends.
No one, people are like, do you have friends? Like I get, again, I get like one different tweet a day, and that's one of them. Like, do you have any friends? And I don't blame them. Kind of sad.
Have you thought about collabing? Would you?
Yeah, I would like to. It's a short list of people though that I would probably be like, oh yeah, I would for sure do a video with them.
Do you watch
Like Casey Fry.
Okay, yeah.
I would love to do a video
yeah.
with Casey Fry.
You guys have very similar attitudes.
But we're not buddies.
Have
We
you-
don't like hate each other. We don't know each other.
Are you internet friends? Like, do you guys follow each other?
No.
Have you DM'd him ever?
Never.
You should.
I feel like he's a very closed off guy.
It seems
This
that
is just
way.
my
He doesn't
guess.
collab
Like,
either.
he doesn't follow many people.
Yeah.
He doesn't collab. I mean, it probably looks like what I look like.
Yeah.
But I think we could make like a fucking awesome video. Mm-hmm. But the reason I haven't DM'd him is I think the last thing I want is someone to think I'm like using them. Mm-hmm. And he for sure has like a bigger audience than me. So he'd be like, oh, he just wants to fucking use me for my audience.
Yeah.
When really it's just like, no, I think you're so funny. And I think we could make like the funniest video.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that's why I haven't like reached out.
Do you watch YouTube? What do you like? Yeah, what do you watch?
I love watching interviews
Like what interviews do you watch?
of like my favorite musicians.
When you're dancing in your room, what are you putting on? Is it like a shuffle situation?
I don't dance to any music. Oh my God, that's weird.
That's weird. That's crazy. Wait, so you're
I'll
dancing
play
this?
a song in my head and literally just like dance to it. I'm not even joking. That's what I'll do.
I'll sometimes like bob my head to no music because like
Oh my
I
God.
feel it in my head as
feel like
well.
that's psychotic
But I'm
of
not
me.
like in my room when I have the option to put on music.
I
Dancing
dance
to
in
silence.
That's psychotic, I think.
That's psychotic.
Not always, but I will dance. It's more of me like sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh, I gotta go pee, and I'll get up and like on the
You
way to the
dance
bathroom.
your way there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more of that,
Okay.
and there's no music playing because I'm just going pee.
That to me, that's okay. That I'll give you a pass on.
You're worried like I'm like dancing for hours in silence. Like that I'm not doing. I promise you I'm not doing that. But like I can
But it
I can
does
hear
happen.
a song in my head whenever I want. Like,
Yeah.
It's like it's almost as if it's
Like
playing.
right now,
Yeah. What are you listening to?
King Cruel.
But yeah, I really like watching interviews. For whatever reason, you know why I think I like them is because and this is going to sound really sad and lonely, but I'll literally put them on so it feels like there's like other people in the room.
No,
So like, I'll be
totally.
like making food and just like have people talking behind me
That's why people like podcasts as well. Like people,
and like vlogs and stuff.
yeah, it's like, and yeah, exactly. Like, especially like long format vlogs of like them, like they place it and they're like eating or like whatever it is. It's just comforting to them to have someone feel like they're with them.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the whole like part of YouTube that like changed the whole entertainment scene of like now there's like there's actual entertainment design for comfort. Like entertainment it was structured and like it had a budget and it wasn't amateur style. And now it's like anyone can make entertainment. It became huge because people actually just like, well, like as you said, being vulnerable and like connecting to like real sides of people.
Right.
It's very interesting to people. And I guess you fall into that group of people that actually see comfort in it.
Yeah. Part of me, like, I'm like, maybe I should make a podcast. No, I don't think I'm going to.
Make a podcast. Hell yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll get mics.
I'm definitely not going to become a YouTuber, though.
That's fine. People like literally always told me to make a YouTube channel. Could never do it.
It's a commitment.
It's just, it didn't feel authentic.
Right.
Do you feel the same way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I only want to do something if I'm like really excited about it.
Yeah. You don't have to answer this, but do you watch porn?
I've seen porn, yes.
Do you watch it though, or not really?
Not as much as you'd think, but I watch porn, yeah.
Okay. So you're like a normal male then.
Yeah, I guess.
Some people don't watch it. That to me is abnormal.
They don't ever watch porn?
Yeah, there's some people that don't watch it at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know these people?
I know these people personally.
Are they normal?
There's something off.
Oh my God.
And I was just curious if you were one of those people. Well, I was curious if like you even had the desire to like, you know what I mean?
You think I have just like zero sex drive?
I don't think
I think that's what you're onto.
No,
right
I think
like,
that's
like,
what I was
Why
trying.
don't you want a girlfriend, James?
I think that's what I was trying to gauge with that question. Like let's figure this out, you know?
If
and
I have any sex drive.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. That's what was my intention with that question.
I mean, yeah, I'm a human being.
Okay.
There are yeah, I
James
do.
has the desire.
I have the desire, as I think almost everyone does.
So what would you say to girls watching this?
Oh my God. As in like what? If I was trying to pitch myself?
Yeah.
I'm like I kind of said, I'm looking for someone who is okay with like not being with me every day or every living second.
Okay.
Someone who like has to do their own thing. Yeah.
You come together on Sundays.
We only hang out on Sundays. No, I think weekends. And that's still 3 out of the 4 days of the week. Like that's still a chunk. Like it's not. Do I sound terrible saying that?
You don't sound terrible. Like to me, that just sounds.
Like I don't want to see them.
No, it sounds like.
Or like I only want. It
sounds like there's no part of you that's willing to be codependent. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you just like the idea of merging your life with another person is not interesting to you.
Actually,
it's like you want a girlfriend.
I think it is possible.
Could you live with someone?
I mean, I've lived with people most of my life.
Like a girlfriend. Like, could you move in with a girl?
I think so, actually. Yeah, I'm just now thinking about this.
So, but that's an everyday thing.
It is. But like there's a very few amount of people that I actually think I would enjoy living with. And I could do it and be fine. And I think I would actually enjoy it. I don't know. This is weird. Pitching myself.
This is like very achievable.
I'm a nice guy.
You're a great guy.
I'm I don't know what my future holds, but we'll see.
He doesn't know what his future holds, but it's going to be okay.
I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a billionaire in 5 years. I'm joking. I feel like our audiences don't really cross. That's why I haven't been very sarcastic this episode, because I feel like they'd be like, James is the biggest douche ever. If I was actually like extremely sarcastic, which I am.
You can do whatever you want. This is a free thing, you know.
I don't know. I don't know how I pitch myself. I don't.
It's okay. Girls are gonna watch this and be like, James is so cute, for sure.
You know what's funny is this is going back to like me flirting on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Your friend Josie.
Mm-hmm. What'd she do?
It was me.
Okay.
I didn't even to be honest, I didn't even know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And she tweeted like a few weeks ago about she was like, I want someone to play tennis with.
She would tweet that.
And I had been playing tennis all summer and like tweeting about it. So like I had my followers tagging me in her tweet, like, James, you should do it. So I was just in a goofy mood. So I replied with like a photo of me like holding a tennis racket. That was taken this summer. I didn't like go out and do it.
Yeah. To clarify.
And then like of course I forget that like your followers can see when you reply to tweets. So they all just pile on. I'm like, oh God, now this Josie girl
is a thing,
probably hates me. And then I like last night I was looking at like your just watching some of your stuff and I'm like, oh God, they know each other.
Like one of my oldest friends in LA.
But it wasn't even like a flirtatious thing. I'm being completely honest. I actually want someone to play tennis with. That's my pitch.
So does Josie, it sounds
I'm looking for someone to play tennis with. That's my pitch, I think.
So she needs to play tennis.
She doesn't have to, but it would be nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Josie after Logan.
Who's Logan?
Paul is her boyfriend.
They dated? Well, now Jake is stealing the show.
I don't know.
Boxing.
I don't follow YouTube that much. I should for these
You don't
purposes.
even have to. Jake Paul with his boxing stuff right now. Have you heard of any of that?
He
was on like, he was the talk of sports Twitter one night.
Yeah, he's trying to fight Dylan Danis for boxing. Is that what you're talking about?
He fought a former NBA player and knocked him out. And it was the talk of Twitter.
Wait, are you serious? Recently?
Yeah. Yep. And people hate him. I don't hate him. I like respect him. He's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's an antagonizer. And he's so good at it. Mm-hmm. Like it takes legitimate talent and skill to be that crazy like he is.
It takes like the ability to turn off your shame.
Well, right. Well,
which isn't good.
I think he realized him being hated is profitable. Like people watched that boxing match because they wanted to see him get knocked out.
Yeah.
He makes money by being hated from being hated. Like, which I think is kind of fucking cool.
It's cool, but I don't know how happy that's going to make him. You know, I'm sure he doesn't go to sleep every night being like, my life is great. He just has a shit ton of money. You know, like,
I don't know. I don't know him personally.
I mean, I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. This is something I hope I'm wrong, truly. But I just don't see that as something that can make one person genuinely happy in their lives.
Well, no, money's not everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's sacrificed money for a very negative thing. The whole world hates him. So is that worth it?
He has fans though.
He has fans, but like, are they your fans for the right reasons? Are you setting a good example?
Yeah.
Or what are you doing? What are you like improving the world in any way? Or are you making it worse? That's kind of what I'm getting
I'll let
at.
him answer that one.
Yeah, honestly, like he's not.
I don't want him knocking me out.
Yeah, he's not like some serial killer criminal. He's just demonstrating you can get ahead with poor behavior, and I there's parts of Jake I absolutely respect, but I just don't see that making him that happy. I don't know. I could be wrong. It just doesn't seem like that would make me happy. It doesn't seem like that's a good solution.
I guess.
It's like, I would still do it.
I mean, like I said with the TikTokers, if I could make millions of dollars doing body rolls, shirtless at a camera and winking at it, I would absolutely do it.
You could probably
I would totally swallow my pride and make millions like these fucking 19-year-olds are right now.
How should we end this podcast? Or how should we close off? What do you think? Do we have a topic? Or should we like... Or what time are we at?
We've been talking.
Holy... This is my longest podcast.
It was in the back of my head like, we are just going. The only fault for us doing this the first time we hung out is like, this is when we wanted to talk. We're literally getting to know each other. So like, these are always my longest conversations when I first meet somebody.
Yeah.
But
filmed for kids.
You said it, not me. I before I came on, I was like, how flirtatious am I going to be? With like, just like, not even towards you, just talking like
as a joke.
When you were like, James, pitch yourself. Like, I totally could have been like absurd there, but I was like,
don't hold back.
What if people don't? They'll take me seriously.
No, people will definitely. Do you want people to take you seriously? It doesn't seem like you do.
No, I don't. I don't know how to end it though.
James, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. You were an amazing guest.
Was I? I don't know. I'm nervous. We'll see.
your own take on this podcast. It's like everyone's different and brings like a different energy. You're like, your energy is just different, and I like it because it's you, and you don't need to be like any other guest, you know. Cool. It will be like your own. This is like, it will be a definite James podcast. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I'm glad it's unique. Cool. If you want to hang out on the weekends and play tennis.
If you're an independent girl who doesn't mind having.
But maybe I will live with you. Charlotte convinced me maybe I could.
Yeah. Baby steps. No cats.
Oh my God. I got to get a cat.
No.
All right.
And bye.
See ya.